it's a weird thing now that if, like he's in discussion or whatever, I'm like, well, when I was on Rogan and we were talking about, and men will be like, whoa, what? And
I don't even listen to Rogan, and
yes,
I did that.
exactly. And it's like, it's fun seeing the shut the fuck up face.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
When your mission is beyond missionary, step up your game with Liberator. Their collection of transformable sex furniture and sex toy mounts will put you in sexual positions you never thought were possible. Use promo code MANWHORE and save 40% off the best-selling Wedge Ramp combo at Liberator.com.
Welcome to the Man-Whore Podcast.
What's up, all you kinky chemists, you fisting physicists? Shout out to all the lusty lab techs and the monogamous polymers. This is Billy Procida, and you're listening to the Man-Whore Podcast. I don't even know if a polymer is a person thing or not. I have a communications degree. I am not like this week's guest. Famed science personality, that's how I'm going to introduce her. Yvette, a.k.a. Scibabe, is on the show this week. As she said throughout the episode, she does not want to shit on her ex-husband. But as she does throughout the episode, she fails. And I'm going to share all this juicy conversation with you in just a little bit. But first, real quick, show dates, people. Show dates. I miss saying it. I missed saying show dates so bad. So bad I've been wanting to do show dates, but I haven't been able to like I once did. But they're back. Folks, tickets are on sale next Saturday night, February 17th. Impact, the kinky comedy show with Dorian Dreadful. Comedians tell their jokes while they share the stage with some BDSM. Link in the schnotes. Tickets are also now on sale for the next Naked Comedy shows, February 23rd at Hacienda. Link also in the show notes. And save the date. February 29th is the debut of Not the Naked Comedy Show over at Lucky Jack's on the Lower East Side. That last one is just like a normal, keeping my pants on $10 comedy show. Tickets will be on sale next week. For those and all my other show dates, make sure to visit manwhorepod.com. I am back from Los Angeles. How was it? It was cold. It was bullshit that it was cold. I wore the same jacket leaving New York as I wore throughout LA. That seems wrong. And to top it all off, as you probably read or heard about, there was a massive amounts of rain out there. You ever have an orgy canceled due to rain? Like it's a fucking baseball game? Before I get to my guest this week, Scibabe, let's do a fan whore appreciation moment. This is the part of the podcast where I have to give a shout out to members of my fan whore community on Patreon. I appreciate all of you for chipping in to keep this independent podcast going. But right now I want to give a special shout out to Enrique Hernandez and Jamie from the UK. These peepers got a little taste of the Peep Show. I hope you enjoyed. And thank you for supporting the Man Whore Podcast on Patreon. You too can become a member and gain access to over 300 bonus episodes of the show. Yes, over 300 bonus shows. If you've binged the whole thing and you need more, you know where to go. Patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, Patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And now for this week's guest, my friend Yvette, more commonly known as Scibabe. Yvette has built a large online persona discussing science and science-y topics. She also used to co-host the Two Girls, One Mic porncast with former guest of the show, Alice Vaughn. If you are a Scibabe fan, I think you are hearing a lot that you really don't get to hear about and from this woman, about her personal life. Since, you know, she talks about, she doesn't like talk about the science of fucking. She talks about like nuclear physics and shit that like I am probably never going to read about. But I was glad that she was so open with us this week. She has a hell of a bonus episode out on the Patreon tomorrow. Just a heads up in case you don't make it to the end. big science talk on the bonus episode on Patreon. But for now, got a few ads. I got to pay some bills. For all the people who don't join the Patreon, I got to have these because of you. But that's okay. Just that's why these are going to be here. And then we're talking to Scibabe. Valentine's Day is almost here, and it is not too late to get a sexy gift for you and your loved one or loved ones. Liberator has got the sexy furniture, the sex toy mounts, the bondage gear to make that special night even more special. And they got deals on deals on deals for the arbitrarily selected but commercially profitable holiday that is Valentine's Day. Some of Liberator's special deals include their Heart Wedge bundle with some of their special Heart Wedge pillows, now in Valentine's colors. The Loon bundle for some self-love on a solo poly night. That includes a sex toy mount, a snuggle pillow, a mini bullet vibrator. And they've got the Black Label Wedge Ramp combo bundle for all the bondage lovers. The wedge, the ramp, and cuff connectors for keeping them comfortably held down tight. These bundles are carefully put together to form the perfect Valentine's Day gift, and the best part is there are unbelievable discounts on these bundles. For more details, visit the Valentine's Day gift guide link in the schnotes. No promo code needed, just go explore until February 14th. Liberator.com or click the link in the schnotes. I've been recording for the last 5 minutes.
It's
everything you spit is gold.
I'm platinum, baby, platinum.
Yeah, I mean, I like how we did almost get into comparing blocked accounts. That would have been very retro for us, but I mean, I feel like everyone who listens to the show knows who's blocked me. I think they all know.
I had my.
Are you able to do a little closer?
We can do a. I mean.
Oh no, you to the mic.
You mean this?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't mind you getting closer to me physically. I just meant your mouth to the microphone.
I got it.
Okay, cool.
We're on it.
Yes, we're on it. And then the last thing I'll just before I get running into anything off limits, like I shouldn't improvise my way towards.
Let's see. I don't want to talk too much about my marriage because who wants to talk about divorce? Like it's, I think
we're interested in the here and the now.
Yeah, it's like, I left, I'm doing better. I think everyone's heard about somebody's piece of shit ex. Like,
yeah,
it's nobody needs to. I'll trash him elsewhere. Don't worry. The good thing is the guy that I'm sleeping with now. That's all joy. Like, there's been no
the guy you're dating but won't say you're dating.
He's in an open relationship.
I know.
He's married.
I reread on the curb. I reread everything you sent, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds like she's dating this guy, and they're just not going to call it dating. But everything you said and like the vibe you were giving off was like, she likes this guy.
Yeah, I super like this guy. Like it's, and I mean, like it's funny because like I thought we were getting into this for the sex, and he's. Like and he made it very clear that this had limitations on it, that this was just the sex. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down. I need some dick. And he was a much more, emotionally supportive and there for me on a daily basis. Like drove me to my last. I had a minor surgery last.
I thought you were gonna say mental
last fall. Yeah, had that too. Yeah, he was there for me for that. But like anytime I'm having an insecurity, anytime I'm having a fucking feeling, anytime whatever, it's never once. Are you sure you're having that feel? Like validates every last little emotional. I'm going through, like while I've been in therapy after divorce, like if I'm having a little mental futz, and he's just letting me feel my feelings, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I had that. He's like, you don't have anything to apologize for. It's okay. I'm like, who are you? What in God's? I'm like, you know what? And like I said, he's married, it's all on the up and up, and I don't want this person to ever split up with their wife because they are the person they are. They're happy. They are this very fulfilled person in their life, partially because they are in this one. Like, and I'm friends with their wife too, and it's like I want them to stay exactly where they are, and it's like if this is where it stays in this stasis, it's fine. Like that's.
But it sounds like if the opportunity opened up for something more serious, you'd be down to.
I'd be like,
say
yes,
some I love yous and shit.
It's. Yeah, it's like it's like here's the thing. It's like we'll talk about like what our feelings are for each other. God, I hate saying that term. But like it's like it's very cool. Like he's very oh Jesus, I'm stuttering now.
I know, it's because you like him.
Yeah. But
Dork.
it's like, but he'll, right. No, it's like because he treats me well. Like it's whenever men are not sure how to get a girl. Here's what you do. Be nice to her. And I don't mean say, I'm a nice guy. I mean, if she's telling you she's got a feeling about a thing, don't argue with her about her feelings. Tell her, listen and it's, I feel more, like I said, just listened to and validated and understood and like I'm a whole human being worthy of being cared about than I did in my marriage. And it's nice. And it's like, like part-time of having this person as my non-relationship has been a fucking treat. I look at it and go, I know this isn't going to turn into my full-time person. They have their full-time person. And
unless...
No, I don't want them to be split up. Like,
no one said split up.
Here's the thing, like unless it turns into gotcha. Like if it turns into more of a poly open thing, it's like fuck yeah. But also like that's not a thing I would ever approach them to because like it's not my marriage. Like my marriage is Scibabe. I'm married to my job. But it's like I don't think that you when you're in like, and that's part of the thing that works. So we're both in entertainment to various degrees. And it's like, neither of us want to blow up our lives. Yeah. And that's helpful.
But it sounds like you're getting more from like your part-time boyfriend who's not a boyfriend than you were getting from like a full-fledged relationship full-time.
Exactly. And it's funny because I've said to him, I'm like, because he said once, he's like, I can't be your boyfriend, right? And he didn't say it like, it was does it hurt
every time he reminds you that?
He doesn't remind me of that. Like that exact, like that hasn't come up in a long time. And it's like when he said that, I'm like I've referred to you casually as my quote boyfriend, but you're not my, and he's like, I get it. And I'm like, and we both know what it is and what it's not. And it's like, it's nice to have someone that I know is there. And like the number of times I've had one of my, like, look, I'm going through a lot. I'm figuring out where my sensitive spots are, like where I don't want to say overreacting, but like where he says something and I'll internalize it as, oh, he meant this. And then I'm like, oh, I only thought he meant that because that's how my ex was. Mm-hmm. And like, it's taken a little while to realize like, he's not going anywhere. He's this, bastion of stability. He's not like, it's he's everything that I'm not used to of just being who he said he was going to be. And I was friends with him for a really long time before, like while I was still married. And like we were just buddies. And it's been comforting in a way that I didn't expect. This part-time thing of having something part-time good has made me go, all right, when I'm not terrified of, putting a toe out there again, I know what I want and what I'm not going to accept. Mm-hmm. And like, that's been kind of the healing part of it. It's like, if one day he's like, yeah, me and the missus have decided that, yeah, we're going to go open and change it a little bit. Would you like to throw a title on this? I'd be like, yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm like,
but at minimum, he's shown you like, this is what I want when I find someone who's going to be my full time. Like they can't, like a new standard has been set.
Yes, like it's made me go, this was what I always wanted and didn't realize. Like just in terms of the treatment, like I didn't.
Did you not realize like it was an option to be treated this way?
Yes, yeah. Fucking yes. Like, because I always thought, oh, there's going to be like because I think you end up, like they say you end up dating your father, or you end up dating like, it's like, it's kind and it's because you're taught on some level, this is how love is. Like there's, if you're brought up with like some amount of conditioning that there's going to be some pain attached to it. Like if someone offers you, like I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on this, but like there's, like there were some characteristics of how the tempers were in my house and how the reactions were and how things were conditional and whatnot that I saw reflected in my own marriage. And it's been so strange and light and wonderful to go, oh, none of that is not a fucking stitch of that is here. And it's made me realize that like there are good relationships out there. It's not like they're not just good relationships, but there are good men out there. It's like there's, it's like I think there was a part of me that was like, you're like I know there are good men, Yvette. Were you not aware?
I have not dated a lot of you, like over the last 10 years. I've heard a lot of this where it's just I'm like the guy who just by doing so little,
the bar is in hell.
And there's pitfalls I fall into, like they're typically pretty masculine, where you're trying to problem solve.
I think that happens with the best of us as we go, like we hear someone, gone around about, here's the things that happened today. And like, I got into a habit with my ex of asking, hey, quick question, do you want to vent or did you want me to help? I
love asking that.
And it's because like I got tired of us having, stumbling into my ex going, saying, I just wanted to vent. Like,
yeah.
It's
like, what kind of response do you need from me right now?
Yeah. And it's like, it was funny because there were times when my ex spouse would like both, I think they both wanted you to respond a certain way when they were complaining about something, and then didn't want you to push back and say, I just wanted to vent. So it was like, it's good for, what was good for Derek was not good for, anyways, I said I wasn't going to complain about my ex, and okay. I lied. But it's like, it just like, it
just sounds like you're getting such like a bare minimum. And so like I had this reaction when you said like, just be nice. I almost thought it was more like just be decent.
Yeah.
And like be emotionally human.
Yeah. Like,
because nice guys, I think of the guy who's being like too nice to the point he's being kind of a bitch. Like
the guy who's like, yeah. I did the things I'm supposed to on the date. Didn't I hit the sex buttons by doing that? Like,
yeah, that's that nice guy. I'm thinking of the nice guy who like doesn't even have the audacity to go there because he's being so meek that he's like, he's asexualizing himself through the niceness.
Yeah.
But when you describe like, do we have a name you want to call man bitch?
You know what? Like it's because I call him, I jokingly call him man bitch. Like let's call him something that's not his name. All right, I'm looking at a Douglas Adams book, so let's call him Adam.
Okay, Adam.
It's absolutely not his name.
It sounds like Adam's just being like a decent, emotional human being.
Yeah. And like if I've been, we keep like we don't see each other every day, obviously. But we like, and I didn't even know if it was going to be like a hey, like shoot each other a message whenever we had the chance to hook up. No, we chat every single day, and like that wasn't the case at first, and like it kind of turned into a it is it's exactly like that's what's happening. But like we check in on each other every day. Sometimes we'll be chatting all day. Sometimes it's just a quick little hey, how are you? And like. But no, it's a daily, checking on what's happening with each other's lives. And like, I'm, like, it's, whatever the big, oh, fuck, something's going on, or, you're sick, you're injured, you're what, like, we're keeping up with how's things, anything I can do to help, whatever. And it's like, it's nice to feel that deeply cared for, like, and that's the big thing. It's like, I felt like in previous relationships in my last in my marriage, like I felt like I had to, like, it was like trying to pull blood from a stone to get the level of care that I get out of just daily, like somebody who's checking in on me and is cognizant of the fact that that things are happening in my life, that I want someone someone's looking in on me, and that's kind of nice. It's I don't know, it's nice to have a connection with somebody who wants to know the inner workings that's going on up here, and is like to it's been different.
It's really, really nice to know like there's someone who cares about me. And like when you wake up and you see someone say like, I hope you have a great day. Yeah. And it's not even like we're looking for a conversation. They're just saying like, there's somebody here in this world who cares that your day is nice today.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to be the one to make it nice. I'm just letting you, but it's also nice to know someone cares.
Yes.
Like I was out on your curb because you were all like 5-ish. I got to put the makeup on. And I was like, it's like 5-ish, but like, let me wait till it's a little more 5 than ish. So I sat on the curb for like a little bit.
Oh, you didn't have to.
No, it was only like 5 minutes. I was like reviewing our messages. And when you were talking all about Adam and like, I could tell you like this man.
Oh, yes.
And I was feeling all like, oh, God, I want someone to like me. Like, I want someone to talk about me like this again. I miss that.
No.
Like, I could read it just textually.
Like, you know, I'll give you all of Adam's secrets. Just like, I mean, here's the thing. It feels like you know them. You just have to find the girl that that
like,
it fucking gels with.
I've been, I've
like,
been that before. I'm just in a
thing,
stage right now where I'm,
Here's the other thing that I fully understand. I know that what we have works on this very part-time basis. I don't know if it would work full-time. And that's something that I know. Like
But what's not full-time?
Like
you talk every day.
No, we do talk every day.
You fuck every week about?
It depends on the week, depends on the month.
Sure,
You know, it's like because we're both busy. Sometimes we're traveling for work, that kind of stuff. But regularly.
You like each other's posts on the internet thing?
All the time.
All the time.
Every single one. Like,
sounds a bit full time.
Sounds
It sounds like you don't live together.
Yeah.
And it sounds like no one's like the emergency contact.
It's fair. Yeah. We're in each other's lives to a regular degree, I would say. Yeah. But it's also like, when I say full time, like, I've had a husband. I know what it's like to be in each other's lives. Like you know what someone, you know what kind of, how fast someone is to snap when they're having a stomach ache, like that, all the big and all the little things that come along with the full-time stuff. And man, I could put up with a whole lot of shit for way too long in that kind of relationship. And that was unpleasant and it's like, I know that he's obviously, he's not someone I would want he's not someone I would quote put up with. He's someone who I would enjoy, but also, he's got his little patch of happiness in the world already, and it's things are good exactly where they are, and it's partially because I'm someone who I'm good managing myself most of the time. So like I'm a weirdo like this, I think, and I do tend to feel a little stifled in a relationship or like suffocated, I think. So like as I felt off, like I think my ex-husband, I was the first person that I didn't feel like the relationship was like an itchy sweater that I was trying to get off. Like it, like automatically earlier relationships, it was like that anxiety. As soon as it was like, all right, we're in a relationship, it was like, can someone get this sweater off? This is really itchy. This is not like, and the anxiety would build. And it's like eventually like I would get out of relationships very quickly because it was like something about this doesn't feel right. And my ex-spouse is just, that was the first one that didn't feel like that. And there were so many problems with it. So many problems. Like this is a much easier, happier setup. And I wonder if part of that is that it is part-time, and it's like I was, back when I was young and back when I was in my late 20s, I'd gone on a date with a woman who like she was married, and she's like, I'm just looking for a very part-time girlfriend, just someone, 1 or 2 dates a month. And I'm like, that would be fucking lovely. You have great tits. I would love to see those. Like, that's not what I said. But, it's like, my thought was, I'm like, I could deal with seeing those titties twice a month. But she was, like, and it was nice because same, like, we met at a nerd con. We were on a panel together for this panel called How to Flirt Like a Pro. So, given that I went
You're
home
a scientist.
with her,
why are you on this panel?
Have you not met me?
I mean, you're very flirty, but like, but like, how?
I was doing a bunch of talks on forensics and whatnot, and I was like, I'm going to put in an application for this, and because I knew all the people that ran the con, they're like, oh yeah, put her on that one, put her on that one, because I do weird shit on my off time. Like you see what's in the corner in that bucket over there.
Yeah. I tried to go move something, and there's like a Hitachi like right in my face.
There are at least 4 other dildos in there.
No, I see one.
One of them inflates. Look, I didn't buy the big one, to be fair. Someone, like, when my ex packed up my shit for me, he put all the sex toys from, like, things that were his before we met went in there. I'm like, all right,
some of those... been tainted by your cunt juice. Like...
Look, some of them were tainted by his prostate juice. So, right right into the garbage with those, right into the garbage. Everything got sterilized before I touched them. Look, I don't know why he gave me the box with all that. I just know that some of them were not wanted. So
did you keep any of them?
Some of them were mine.
Okay.
So
well,
yeah,
I don't fucking know. Like clearly he didn't want the prostate ones because he was like the memories of her in my ass. Like I can't handle it anymore.
It's like that was he had those before we met. So
okay.
It was weird. Like I don't want to get too much into it.
Okay.
I feel it was funny because I started my old podcast, Two Girls One Mic, that I co-hosted with our friend Alice. After I think we were already married. I think when that podcast started, we had the kind of general rule we had with that was like I would talk about my sex life, like I would talk about former partners, or I would talk about sex generally, but I tried not to talk about the marital bed.
Right,
you know. I still try to, talk about sex life without getting into too many details because, I'm a science writer and I feel like people don't want to hear too much about Mrs. Auntie Scibabe's vagina, it feels like it's like, let's try to, we can talk about my sex life like it's a thing that happened back in the day, not before the spiders crawled into it, like we try to keep that a little quashed, but the things that happened in my 20s were there were some wild there were BDSM conventions like that the after parties had some nights. I bet. So I'll tell you about those when we're not recording.
Sounds good. Good time to say I am here with Yvette, commonly known as Scibabe.
Hello.
Scientist and occasional smutty talker.
All the time smutty talker, just not all the time in front of a microphone. So
you did co-host the Two Girls One Mic porncast, which I've been a guest on.
That was how we met.
What?
That was how we met, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Alice had reached out to me, I think, through like Twitter.
Yeah.
To ask me to do it, but we did Clerks, the porn
parody. Oh my God! Yes.
I was very happy to do that.
Clerks was a good one.
Yeah.
I loved reviewing those porn parodies. So it's I have a fun story. Adam at one point directed porn, and that was something that like long before we hooked up, we chatted about a lot. So one thing that made me go, I'm going to be comfortable and safe with this person. He'd sent me a picture of him or a couple pictures of him on set with the women that because he directed for like an all female company, and it was a friend of his who had asked, could you please come direct write porn? And the women were manhandling him in the pictures, and he just had this look on his face of and it's just he's like they were funny and delightful, it was fine. And I'm like, it's just I'm looking at these pictures of him just being just like I said, handled by naked women while he's fully clothed in a suit, and I'm like, this is a person that's never gonna injure me. Like I am safe around this person, and I was right. And they're fucking blast in bed. So
fantastic.
But that was good sign. It's when someone looks at home and not weird and not sketchy on a porn set.
Well, you kind of alluded to earlier how you're not quite ready to get into the dating waters. So since the divorce, sounds like you weren't dating. Now you got Adam around, and it sounds like he's like this kind of like pseudo relationship you got going on. What signs are you looking for that will tell you I'm ready to get back out there and like date?
It's funny because I've turned on I've set up a Tinder profile. It's when I went home for Thanksgiving, I set one up because I'm like, why not? Let's see what happens. And like I got relatively inundated with messages, likes, whatever. And it was I think because like if I was going to be at home, like I'm like I only have like if I was going to start dating and I'm here, like it wasn't quite so like I can only have a chance to click on one and go on, like that would have been less of a oh my God, too much information all at once. But like I was in New Hampshire looking at way too many people that I was not interested in at all clicking like. And I think when I know it's going to sound horrible, but I think when I stopped being so absurdly picky and seeing every face as hideous, like there was just like I kept on scrolling through and just swiping. Is it left that's a rejection?
Left is a rejection.
Yeah, like I kept left for everyone, and I'm like, these aren't bad looking guys, and for some reason I keep interpreting their faces as bad looking, and it was. And I think I'm like, I think if I get to a point where I go, no, they're worth giving a shot because there's there's it like I think that's when I'll know, because like I'll keep reactivating Tinder for a day or two, and deactivating it because it's just I'm like nothing, not quite yet, but like I don't know what the sign is gonna be, but like I'm enjoying the silence of not having to take care of someone. And in my relationship, in my marriage, there was so much to do for another person. And I need to have some time of not having that as a responsibility. Like I want to, last year was kind of, my mental rebuilding year, because it was such a bad relationship. This year I'm trying to get, turn Scibabe around with the podcast and whatnot. And I think after I've gotten that a little bit more established, like maybe then if I have free time, but like there's like, I saw, one thing that was difficult with my ex was that, I mean, there are a lot of there's a laundry list. We don't.
But she's not gonna shit on her ex. That's not what she's here for. No.
No. But it was difficult that, like, 'cause I was relatively unknown writer. When we first met, I had some followers, but like it wasn't huge. Then we've been dating for like 2 months when my first professional piece of writing went viral, and I landed on the front page of the LA Times. Like I went from kind of sort of a little bit known quantity within the skeptic universe to, hey, here's a career. And it was like we'd only been dating for 2 months, and I should have, like, there's a part of me that thinks maybe we should have broken up right then, because there was a part of him that I could see was uncomfortable with it. Like there was a big part that didn't feel that, like, was, you could feel the earth shifting a little bit underneath them. And I don't think that he ever quite adjusted to me having being famous. I hesitate to say famous, like, because I live in LA, and there are like 2 people that anyone knows, and it's Gwyneth Paltrow and Jeff Goldblum, and I'm not them. So like, it's like, if you're not getting recognized walking down the street, you're not. Sure. Like, it's like, it was the day that I went to buy the LA. I don't know if I ever told you this story. I went to buy the LA Times that I was on the cover of, and I still have it sitting over there on my dresser.
It's not framed?
No, I'm not that person.
Lady.
It's okay, fine. I'll frame it. It's like, I feel weird putting it's funny. There's actually a picture of me and Buddy on the, like, my little doggo here are on the cover of it together. It's very cute. But like, it was, it was humbling, because I went to buy the LA Times. I go into CVS to buy this LA Times, and I'm very proud. I'm holding it out to the person and I'm like, you're gonna notice it. See, me, and they're like $1.25. I'm like, nobody give a fuck about. There are approximately 8 billion people on this planet, and approximately 8 billion don't give a fuck about me. And you know what? That is, I think, the right attitude. Because even if I get even if I get a TV show one day, heaven help us if that happens, I'll be insufferable, more so than I am now. But like, even if, like, the fame gets bigger, even if whatever, I keep the attitude that approximately 8 billion people don't give a fuck about you. Yeah. It's better that way, because you know what, like, it's number one, it's accurate. Number two, it doesn't matter what little fucking thing you're famous for today, it can very easily evaporate. Yeah. So those have been some things I've, like a hot quantity one day that could demand a very high payout for speaking fees. And, then the pandemic happened and speaker fees dropped for a little while, and, gotta work on rebuilding some things. Mm-hmm. So it's been a learning experience. And, my ex was never quite comfortable with fame or with not sticking there. They like telling me how I should do my job, like they had expertise in it.
Yeah.
And it's like they were likewise a chemist, but they were not a writer, a social media personality, all that good stuff. And I think on some level, like I'm always, you know, I said we were talking earlier about, asked, are you venting or do you want advice?
And you were like, I don't need your advice. I am famous.
Yeah, and
you're a chemist, so let's stay in lanes.
And here's the thing: I'm a chemist too. My academic background is in toxicology, forensics, chemistry, and like if Derek would have sometimes his advice was good and I would take it, but like it was awful talking work with him because if I talked work and he gave advice and I didn't take it, he was in a fucking mood. And it's like, that it's fine to, like, if you give me advice and I go, that's a good idea, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. He would then try to adjust the advice to change it. And it's like, I didn't ask for advice.
Okay.
That was, but yeah, there was an assumption that I always needed his help to fix my work. And it's like, I was doing just fucking fine before that. But yeah, it was very, I know that I'm out in the public eye now and I have to account for that when I'm dating. And that's not something that I ever thought was a thing when I was, when I met Derek on Facebook, when I was just, when I was an unknown writer with a Facebook page that had 5,000 followers.
Yeah.
So that he started following my page, I think the first month that I had it. So it was, but yeah, like that's something to kind of take in. Like that might have made me stay in my marriage longer than I planned on, or longer than I would have otherwise, because it was like, oh God, if I ever want to date again, I have to take into account that I'm Scibabe on top of it. And
are you not sure like how to date as Scibabe?
Yeah.
Because you never really had to.
Yeah, I mean, I was already doing the Scibabe thing, like when I
but like you weren't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I was Scibabe, but I was Scibabe with like 10,000 followers, not 400,000, and like now when I tell a man I've been on Joe Rogan's podcast, they lose it's if I'm discussing just at a bar talking to a guy and whatever, because Joe Rogan is in the fucking atmosphere. He's in all of us. He's in you right now. He's a known.
He's in me saying no homo though.
he's saying no homo while it's sliding in and sliding out. It's but yeah, but like it's a weird thing now that if like he's in discussion or whatever, I'm like, well, when I was on Rogan and we were talking about, and men will be like, whoa, what? And
I don't even listen to Rogan, and
yes,
I did that.
exactly, and it's like I try not to, I both try not to be a douchebag about it because no one wants to be a name dropper or no one wants to deal with a name dropper, but sometimes it's fun to see men shut the fuck up when when you're like, so Joe Rogan, who follows me on Twitter, it's fun seeing the shut the fuck up face, seeing the who are you? But I don't know how to date as a person who's done these things, and I know that men. No,
but is your type of guy even gonna be some sort of Rogan disciple?
No.
Right.
But here's the thing.
So it's that's almost gonna be your test. Is mention your own Rogan and just do they come in their pants, or they just do their eyebrows just raise oh, that's really interesting.
But you learn people that you don't expect handle fame poorly. And here's an example that happened to me once. I was in Kansas City to give a talk. My brother at the time lived out there. And I was meeting up with a handful of people from my brother's friends group. I knew people I happened to know people from outside of my brother's group that happened to be in the. Anyways, I was out at karaoke with a group of friends. I thought everyone there knew who I was, and there was this girl who I'm chilling. We're vibing. We're having a good time, and I think either she knows who I am and she's capable of being totally cool, and she's not treating me any differently, or she doesn't know who I am at all. And we're gonna get along fabulously, whatever. But all of a sudden someone points out to her, that's Scibabe. And this expression, big wide eyes, goes across her face. And she is fawning over me for the rest of the trip. Was
she cute? Were you interested?
I was unfortunately not in an open relationship. She was cute, but it's also it was very, it was off-putting in a way that because I suddenly wasn't a person to her. I was a famous thing, like, and you suddenly become like, the more famous you are, the less of a human you are to some people, because you're just this object that can shatter. And it was so unnerving. Like, I think I forget which, it was a comic friend of mine who said this. He's like, yeah, it's, if you're in a room with Bob Dylan, you suddenly forget how to fucking talk. And like, I know I'm not Bob Dylan, but I think once you're a little famous to someone else, you're Bob Dylan to someone if you have a following. Like, and it's very, and it's not something there's no training for that. And when you're in school for chemistry, they don't even train you for that when you're in school for theater, and that's what you're hoping to get.
They really should be a class in like theater school for like, if you break it big, which I don't know if like half of one of you might. You should. And here's how to deal with that. You know, like, it's, if I could get into the New York Times, clothing would be optional. Yeah. I don't think the New York Times wants me though. It's because I write about diets, and they have chosen every diet orthodoxy that is completely contrary to the things I write about. Wow, because I had no idea you wrote about diets.
I've never mentioned it. I'm very
this
quiet.
This is how you can trust that, like, I care almost zero about your fame. Like, the most I care about your following is the fact that you're doing this show. No, otherwise you're just like this funny chick from Twitter.
I do what I can. I also haven't written about diets for like the mainstay, or not diets, but diet myths. Like, okay. But yeah, there's it's, whenever I've gone after a bullshit artist, it's a lot of the bullshit artists I've gone after have been people that the New York Times have like printed.
So it sounds like, on top of just like waiting to go into the dating pool for the reasons of like healing, there's also this other element that you're like, you've never really had to test before, and like that's a whole other place of, of anxiety. Yeah, like that's wild. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna have to get out there and be like, so I'm pro nuclear energy. I think organic is bullshit. It's GMOs are fine. I don't think those are going to be dating impediments for you.
I live in LA though. This is I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is probably the hottest I've ever been. Like, I've never been this tiny. My hair, like, I've minoxidiled the fuck out of my hair. It's funny. Every so often I'll look at an old picture and I'm like, my God, you could see clear through to my scalp. But it wasn't even curly before. It came in with curls this year, and it was like, oh, for my 40th birthday I got curly hair. Look at that. But yeah, the anxiety of losing my brother and leaving my husband just lopped the last 20 pounds off, and it's been nice to get back out into the single world looking cute, but also I'm like, I think it's that I'm like, I can give myself an orgasm, so I don't want the hassle that's going to come along with another human being until I'm ready for that, And it's like, I know what, look, I thought Adam was just going to be sex, and it turned into something much deeper than I expected. Whatever title you want to put on those emotions, whatever title you want to put on that companionship, it was heavier than I expected, and I have a cat right here. But yeah, it turned into, something. And I'm like, I don't want to, I don't want to land into another, something deep when I was just looking for dick. It's so like, I'm like, I'm down with hunting for more fun for my hoe era, but I got to make sure that I'm, good and, fortified for it, mentally, spiritually, ecumenically, whatever. My number was like, I mean, my number's pretty fucking high now, and I don't know how high it is, but like, and that's with not sleeping with, like, I think, like, my ex and I, we had a couple of threesomes, but like,
you basically were on pause.
Yeah, no new men, a handful of new women, all with my partner, and like not a single new dick for 8 years. Wow. I'm so disappointed in myself. I'm also like, I'm proud. Like, I think people think that if you have a high number, you're automatically gonna seek out more dick. It's like, no, I was single and I wanted dick. Yeah. Like, I wasn't gonna stop having sex because I was single. Like, I was gonna keep, like, the last one didn't work out, I'm gonna find another one. Sure. But I had a lot of one night stands. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of flings. And it was just, while I was married and while I had a partner who, even though they said they would be up for non-monogamy, that was you got to get that shit in writing before you get to hammer that out to the letter before you get married. Because if you if you have someone some people are not going to hold to that. I don't think that's the case with everyone. I think some people are going to be more likely to lean into non-monogamy. I think if you have a partner who is insecure, or if they see non-monogamy as a way for them to get laid but not you, it's ugly. Like, there was one point where we discussed it because we saw a friend of ours who had opened up their marriage, and Derek said to me something along the lines of, if we opened up our marriage, it would be a way for him to get the same amount of attention that I do online all day. And I'm like, I'm not fucking the people that are commenting on Scibabe, Derek. Like, the only person I ever fucked that I met on Scibabe was Derek. Yeah. It was very, I'm boggling the wording on it, but it was very, going non-monogamous would make up for the attention you get from your job. And I'm like, oh, that's how you've always seen my career, is I get attention from people.
And the attention is it's sexual, even though it's not.
And our sex life had dropped off a lot.
See, that's so weird to me. I was talking about this in the fucking last recording I did earlier today. Give me the bait. Oh no, at my lunch I was talking. I want ambitious chick. I want really good at her job chick. If I was to date a comic, not sleep with one, but if I was gonna date a comic, which would involve sleeping with them, I probably should.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
One would hope.
Yeah, you're right. No, if I was gonna date a comic, I'd want it to be a really funny and good comic. I want a comic I'm opening for her.
It's you're I'm the bad one at this job. She's better.
I want just the idea of the last couple of girlfriends I've had have been really good at what they do. When I was dating people who didn't seem like they knew where they were going or what they were doing, or they were doing it in this slapdash way and trying to make, I go, I mean, it's not that it makes you bad. It just makes me not think stability. I want to build a relationship with you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So when I hear you blow up and then he's getting weird about it, I don't know. I'd be celebrating the fuck out of it and excited about it. Yeah, and be this is if we're together, it's we won.
Yeah, that was what I thought it was going to be, and just it turned into something else. And I don't know if you looked at it through Derek's eyes, how he would have interpreted that, and how different that would have been, what he thought was going on. But it was very clear to me at some point that whenever I had an idea for something, Derek would ask, why not this way? Have you thought about doing this? Didn't you say you were going to do it this? Have you I think you should. And it was just interject, add suggestions, tell me I should do it like his favorite YouTuber. And I'm
he's got to show his worth instead of just caring and supporting. I think in the modern day,
and could I
please.
The thing with Adam, when I tell him I'm look, I don't know if this is any good. I've got this idea for a script I want to do, and just threw it down. That he's I think it's great. You should write it. No suggestions. No, here's someone's already done. He'll give me some feedback, and it's but never don't do it. Never your instincts are wrong. Just always, it sounds great. You should do it. And it's he doesn't Derek met me through my writing, through Scibabe, and then after I think we'd been together for maybe a year, when he was you know that your sense of humor just isn't my style, right? And just would do whatever he could to just knife in the side at my writing, at my sense of humor. I know that he's read my stuff over the years, before this, and it's now he'll just randomly, when I put up a column, just randomly be oh, I didn't know that about blah 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 thing you wrote about. It was a really great column today. I'm oh, it's just it tickles me. It's not, it's nice, it's there's a little, but yeah, it's having having someone who's into your work and who's supporting you. It's that's it's an extra little fucking spring in your step. But no, having someone who, when you succeed, is mad that they didn't. It's and knowing that that's a thing that has happened to me before, with the kind of job I have, it's just another little how the fuck, it's it's hurt my brain when I think about dating is what it comes down to. I'm like, oh God, how is this going to work out when I meet someone new, when I have to tell them what I do for work, when I do, cause you share a life with someone and like, I don't want to, I want to get laid, but I also want to share a life with cause sharing a life with someone was kind of fun. There were good parts of it. Like, I know I'm complaining about Derek and like, I'll have occasional, bad days and I'm like, God, there were things about being married that were convenient. And those were things Derek was not doing at all for me by the end. But, there are things about marriage that are kind of wonderful. And when it's working well, it's you two facing out at the world together. And when oh yeah.
Now I'm just feeling so single right now.
It's right. It's hey, right now we're two friends facing each other. Fist bumpsies, my friend. But we can be single together. But it's rough. But my dog was sick a few weeks ago, and like I remember feeling really alone about that because I got the dog before I met my ex. And I remember thinking, man, it'd be nice to have Derek around for this. And I remember thinking right before we split up when the dog was sick and I'm like, he's acting really funny. I can tell he's not doing well. Derek was like, you want to bring him to the vet just because he's acting a little funny? I'm like, he was, he almost had an anal gland rupture.
You're missing like an element of marriage that wasn't even there though.
Yeah.
But it's what you associate marriage to be, like the fantasy of Derek being what he should have been.
Yeah, and it's like when I was like, man, it was funny because I went through those beats that, man, that would have been nice. Wait, that's not who he was. And then I was angry and then I was crying. Like, and those were all things that were happening on the day, like these few days that my dog was like walking in circles. And like, we didn't know if he just had a really bad ear infection or if he'd had a stroke, or the vet said that he'd had a seizure. But he's doing fine now, as you can see. But like, yeah, it's you do associate those things with marriage, that person that is fucking there for you. But by the end, he didn't even the dog was very clearly sick and he's like, no, don't, the dog doesn't need to go. You're clearly fucking insane if you think there was more than one time when his questioning me about if the dog is actually sick almost hurt the dog further than the initial illness. So you do think about those things when you've been legally latched into a relationship with someone. When you go out there again, you're like, oh God, is this going to happen again? Here's what it is. And it's something that I think has come up with me in therapy. Can I trust myself? Because I used to think I've got a good picker. I know how to avoid them. I know how to get out of a relationship before it gets bad. And then somehow this one person evaded all of my fucking defenses. And I managed it, and I'm still legally working my way out of it. I'm still married legally. So it's like, it's rough. That's a lot. So I think that's a big thing when you get out of a bad relationship is, can I trust myself to not do this again? So it's like, because there are good guys out there. Like, even if you haven't met it's like, to the other ladies out there listening, even if you haven't met your Adam yet, you all know there's another guy out there that's going to be good. But you also know that you're afraid of running into another shithead along the way, and that's the rough part. Is like, can I trust myself to take off the rose-colored glasses to see the red flags for what they are? Or am I going to put those back on and be like, I don't know, those are white flags, those are fine, it's fine. Yeah. And that's the hard part. Like, can I trust me?
There's something, and it ties into this concept of he wasn't being supportive or caring, especially towards the end. There's also the stuff about like the success differential or whatever. There's a lot of talk from like conservative fucking men, people like a Jesse Waters and company about how almost like the problem with relationships today is because women are earning and they don't need the men. And then they're like, so how do we make them need us again? Because they're out earning and they're out colleging and whatever. And it's almost as if they go, we were taught and we were sold that I need to provide. I need to problem solve.
What was the quote from Fight Club? You needed to be millionaires and movie gods.
Sure. I don't know. I've been meant for that movie.
I have the book.
Oh.
I think it's in my closet, but yeah.
I'm so happy that you thought I read.
The book's good. I like Chuck Palahniuk as an author. I think Fight Club is one of his less. I don't think it's his best work, for the record. But moving on.
Okay. But just the idea, like there are conservative voices out there going, well, the whole problem is because we've let women become so independent. They don't need us men, and now I'm having a hard time dating. And I think they need a purpose in relationships, and I feel like being caring and supportive is something they don't realize they can do because it's gay or something. But like that's what a lot of successful, awesome, chicks need. Who otherwise don't need you. They were like, give me good dick and give me good feels.
This guy has broken every one of those, like, the I don't know if it's but like the things that can, that in incel forums or like, the not player pickup artists, those like all that kind of shit that, that men in those forums tell each other this is definitely going to work. Like, or, women are looking for, the top 1%, the tall, he's shorter than me. He's he's not bald, but he's, his hair is thinning. He's a short, nerdy, balding Jewish guy, and he makes me come like there's no tomorrow. Like, it's what does he have? Confidence and kindness, and not even a shred of insecurity. Or if he has any, he doesn't take it out on me.
Yeah.
So, I know people are like, I'm 5'9", so I had a lot of men that were shorter than me take out their insecurities and their height on me by making me feel like I was this big giant. And it's like, he's never once made me feel anything other than beautiful. Like try a bit of that, guys. If you're like, I don't know how to be nice. And I mean, genuinely, like if it's get some of that Gomez Adams energy in there, a little bit of that. Do you like a woman? Do you love a woman? Woo her, make her feel like it's get it, go for it. Like it's what you know.
Like wooing doesn't have to be this expensive thing either. Like wooing can just be like giving a shit how their fucking day went. Yes. What do you need? Yes. Do you want to complain about Karen from work? I can pretend to like care and listen about that. Yeah. Sure. Hey, want to like go, I don't know, just like thoughtfulness.
Yeah. There's like even though like Adam was supposed to be my fuck buddy, he's turned into a person who's gotten up at
he's a boyfriendy fuck buddy.
Yeah, very boyfriendy fuck buddy. I think that's a good way to describe him. Very boyfriendy fuck buddy. Like I think when you have someone with that kind of quote unquote boyfriendy energy, like the thing that because it's hard, or at least it was hard at the beginning to know, like, am I too invested? Am I not? Like, where's the right level of being into this? And I look at it and go, all right, like, one day if like this isn't the thing, if I'm not in this anymore, Adam is always going to be a really close friend. And that's the way that I've kind of contextualized it. And it's like, this is a person that I always want in my life, no matter what the context is. And that's, I think, the easiest way to understand it. And it's just like, the sex is kind of a fantastic bonus. Yeah. But there was a day, like I was, I have a veritable medicine cabinet of everything, and in the over-the-counter aisle at CVS. And you had a case of whatever random sniffle, and I'm like, oh, I have like 3 boxes of it because I, of the thing that treats that. If he's like, are you offering? I'm like, yeah, they're expensive, and I don't know the next time I'm going to be sick with that. So it's like that kind of little, like, I've got you covered. It's like, there's not, there's never a moment of, there's never a moment where we're chatting where I don't feel like he's got my back, or vice versa. And that's kind of nice and different.
Yeah. And you don't have to be, boyfriend, girlfriend or whatever to do that. I think some people, I won't totally gender it, but like, I think there's some people who like, they're afraid to be too caring because they don't want like, I don't want to blur the lines and give them the wrong idea of what this is. It's like, no, you're just being a nice human being.
Yeah. and
who fucks the shit out of them. Like,
yeah,
and that's okay.
And that was hard. I mean, it took a little while for me to like, okay, he's nice. He's there. What is this? And it's like, and sometimes he will, we've never said I love you. And I don't think, like, I'm not sitting here going, yes. And when is that going to happen? Like, that's not, I don't know if that's a thing that ever does happen.
I'm sure he already knows. It's okay.
Like, here's the thing, like, he'll call me love though. And I'm like, that's the thing that's thrown me a few times. And I'm like, I don't know if that's like,
if he's a way of saying it without saying it.
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing. I'm like, are we just saying all the other things that people say to mean that without saying it because that's the rule he has with his wife? And I'm like, I'm fine with that. I'm not, like I said.
What do you say?
It's
what's your version?
It's I'll say I adore you, but I try not to go. I don't touch that one too much because that's a little bit too close to
that's a nice one.
That feels very I'm saying it without saying it.
Yeah, and I'm sure he likes it.
Oh, but it's but yeah, it's no.
You're so smitten.
Shut up.
I'm so jealous of both of you.
No, it's nice. And it's not. It's yeah. Like shut up.
That's what I mean. And this is why. Because I'm looking at your face, and they can hear it through like how you're trying to formulate thoughts, and I can just see it in your face, and it's very cute, and I'm very happy for you, and good. Like I'm glad you got like a nice thing going on.
Yeah. It's what's weird is like it's been going on since like last June, and I would have thought that either it would have fizzled or or I would have caught too many feels or something by now, but it's just kind of worked. Like that's been the weird, but yeah, like I like them, but it's, it's good where it is. And it's nice to have that kind of, it was funny, right? Yeah. It's good. I hope everyone who's gone through an awful breakup finds their own Adam and that ferries them through, through to the other side of awfulness. And like, because I'm like within 16 months, my brother died and I left Derek, and I needed a lot of therapy. And like, there'd be weeks where it's like, I'm crying about my dead brother. There'd be weeks where it's like, I'm crying about I every night I'd go to bed and like my dog and my cat would, just they very cutely crawl into bed together, and I'd start crying over my animals because I'm like, I broke up my family. Like, it was just so ridiculous. And like the next day I'd be like, it's, Adam checks in on me. It's like, how's your day? And it's like, I'm crying about my dog and cat and splitting up and it's like, he's, checking in on me all day. And it's like, I'm making sure I'm not cranky at him about what's going on in my life. And like, I'll figure out at the end of the day, it's like, oh, here's why I've been cranky. It's a thing that happened with my last relationship. And like, I'm basically figuring out my brain while I'm going through this non-relationship relationship, and this unending well of I don't know if patience is the word, but kindness and caring and understanding is just there for me. And it's so unusual from everything else I'm used to. And it's, we need more of that. So guys, if you're not sure what you're doing wrong or what you're like, just fucking validate your partner's feelings, listen to them, check in on them, make them feel cared for. And that's the biggest thing, is I feel cared about.
Yeah.
So
the coming thing doesn't hurt either.
Oh my God. It's fantastic. Like, can I get a little graphic? Are we allowed to get graphic here? Just it's a little.
It is the Man Whore podcast.
Like, look, I won't say anything else about my sex life with my ex, but that man did not eat pussy. Like, I can count maybe on, I don't know if it's less than one hand, but it's definitely less than two hands, the number of times in 8 years. Pretty sure.
Imagine.
Adam, on the other hand, oh my God. Like, and it's like, I would consider dating women again just because I miss eating pussy. I realized that. So like, and that's something I never expected about myself when I was younger.
Well, there you go.
But no, like, it's, that's, the man is talented. But yeah, that's been that at some point I thought, like, maybe I just don't like oral sex. And then I realized, no, I just don't like my husband.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm not going to shit on him though.
I'm not going to shit on him.
We're not going to shit on him.
Look,
anymore. We're not gonna.
After this moment and the next and then look, I didn't plan on it. It's just we're talking
And
relationships.
I didn't push for it. Let the record show.
I take back everything I said about not shitting on my ex. Look, it's not like if he ends up listening to this or anyone who knows him ends up listening to this, I will be shocked. So I don't think he's hunting down anything I'm doing on social media.
Okay.
So
I'll make sure the promo clip isn't about him.
Make it explicitly. No, I'm just kidding.
Whatever makes you want to share it most. I'll do whichever.
I think I have him blocked on either I have him blocked or he has me blocked on the socials, and I forget which. Oops.
I have in my Discord server, we have a patron-only channel called Ask the Guest. If they're a member of my Patreon, they can ask whatever they want. So I've got some. You had quite a few questions for you. Oh, and if they're good questions, I wish it was mine. And if it's a bad question, it wasn't my idea. So,
tell them I say hi, by the way.
So if
you want to take a picture to send to them, I'm happy to throw that down.
We'll go do one of these right now. And wonderful. Okay, so Tracy let's start aggressive. Tracy wanted to know, why would Billy think you hated him?
What?
Do you remember?
I'm so sorry that you ever thought I hated you.
No, wait. Was it AVN 2019 or 2020 you would have been at?
It was 2020, right before the world closed down.
Okay, do you remember we had a quick in passing of each other? I ran to you and Alice.
I didn't even remember you were there.
Okay, so we had a quick a walking around in passing, oh hey Alice, this that, and we didn't quite do. And there was this awkward moment where it was an eye contact. I was and you were come here and for the hug, because I didn't know if we were on good terms, so I didn't go in for the hug with you. I was like, oh hey Yvette, and I hugged Alice, but then it was, and then eventually you were like, come here. I was like, oh okay, I think we're good. Did you never have an ill feeling toward me type of thing? Okay,
no, we're good. I'm so sorry. It's what.
Do you wonder why Tracy asked this? Is I wrote in, so I have to say who the guest is. And if you all were in the fucking Discord server, you'd fucking know. Okay. Yvette is better known by her nerd name, Scibabe. She's a prolific and well-known vlogger voice in the science world with very popular social media accounts. She also used to be one half of the Two Girls, One Mic porncast. The first time we met, we sat in her living room comparing verified Twitter followers. Back when
we're
those
garbage.
Were things. Yes, we are garbage. Then I thought she hated me, and I forget why. Now we're friends again. Ask whatever you want. And that was the first question. Was why did she think she? Why did you think?
I think it might have been because I didn't respond to a lot of people's messages for a while.
Maybe that's
there.
What it was.
I kind of iced a lot of people out for well, the last few years of my marriage, I just wasn't talking to a lot of people, and it was just anxiety and being in a shitty place in my life. So it was. It wasn't you. It was everybody being treated terribly by me while I needed my friends more than ever. So it was, it wasn't you.
Okay, I'm glad I wasn't because you know me. I'm very apparently it's easy for me to piss people off on the internet. So sometimes I don't know when I've. No, I burnt a bridge.
I'm at a point in my life where I'd fucking tell you.
Okay, so glad to know.
Yeah. And I also feel like you'd take the explanation and be like, oh, all right. There are some men who you just don't tell if they've pissed you off because you're like, they'll kill me. But no, you're a person who you take feedback.
I mean, I didn't always in the defense of some of them, 2015, 2016, Billy did not love the didn't agree with the feedback. I was like. Oh, I'll take the feedback and change if it's valid. This is just bullshit feedback.
Oh, so you were not the guy who validated women's feelings always.
When women on the internet I didn't know who disagreed with me on stuff. Yeah, when I was 26, 25.
Yeah, none of us were
a bit argumentative.
We were all pretty shitty people when we were I feel kind of bad for the kids on the internet now because my God, it's. We didn't have anything. How old are you? I forget how old you were.
34.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, you had a little bit more internet happening when you were younger than I did. Facebook became a thing my senior year of college. Mark Zuckerberg is about my age exactly. You still needed a college email address to get in. He was at Cambridge across the harbor while I was at Emmanuel over in Boston. It was just the Boston colleges that were getting access to it first. And the next, there was social media was so different. We could just, you could go out and do some illegal things and nobody would ever know. You could make mistakes when you were young and 26, I think up until because your brain is kind of done fucking forming when you're 25, I think you can say and do, okay, you shouldn't, but like, I think you can keep fucking up and still be an okay person until you're about like 25. But if you're still making those mistakes and still like,
I was freshly turned 26 when it happened.
It's okay. No, but like, I think that people still, people fuck up, and those fuck ups are going to be online now. Like every once in a while I'll see a post of mine from Facebook in my memories from like, 2008. And I'm like, oh, who was I? I had a graduate degree. I taught college then. Like it hurts my soul. But like, like I said, I feel bad for the kids because they, they're growing up with everything online. It's when you're 11 and there's a fucking video camera that just puts everything out to the internet in your pocket. Like, I don't know how that changes the calculus on everything in your life.
Tracy also wanted to know and obviously like there's probably many, so maybe you can pick like a favorite, but asked like what are some diet myths you have debunked?
Oh geez.
Which I know you've probably done many, so if there's maybe a fave.
All right. Let's see. My favorite one, I do like telling people that MSG is perfectly safe and does not cause headaches, not even yours. Because no matter what, there's always someone that goes, but they really do cause mine. I'm like, no.
MSG is perfectly safe. I don't know what that is.
Monosodium glutamate. So back in the day, there was a rumor that like somebody was like, I get headaches after I eat at Chinese restaurants. And I think it's from this one thing that they add into food, and it's MSG. And like, I wrote a long article explaining the history of it and what the chemistry of it was. And MSG is a naturally occurring chemical. It's also, it was basically, I don't want to say synthesized, but it was purified and crystallized by a chemist back in the day. And you can find it in every cabinet, in every in every pantry in Japan and China for I sprinkle it on my French fries in my own house. But like when people are like, there was one guy who just wrote an article saying after he went out to Chinese food he would get a headache, and this idea of quote Chinese restaurant syndrome came up where people it's super fucking racist. But like people get this idea that they need to order their food or get food that doesn't have MSG because it's a toxin, or like there are bullshit artists out there who will call it an excitotoxin, which isn't a thing. It's just a word that people made up. But because you can just do that, but like MSG is perfectly fucking safe. It naturally occurs in Parmesan cheese, in sun-dried tomatoes, in a decent number of foods just have the stuff. It's the thing that gives food that umami flavor. And it's perfectly safe. Also, coconut oil isn't a fucking health food.
But great lube.
It's
great lube. My favorite. Good lube. It's my favorite. Don't use when you're using condoms, obviously, but like
if you're fluid bonded, fucking go for it. But it's the one thing about it, because people seem to think that it's amazing health food. If you swap out some other kinds of fat for coconut oil, without increasing your calories, there can, for certain athletes, be they have found that there can be a subtle increase in fat burn, but like you gotta be at a certain point in your fitness for there to be any change. But it's still it's still a saturated fat, and people seem to think that saturated fats are fine now. That did not ever become a thing. Anyways, I could go on forever, but there's just two of them. Those those articles are both on Self. I used to be a columnist for Self. So that's those are two of them that I'm pretty wild about.
Is there an intersection in her interests of porn and science? From Jack.
Ooh, let's see. I don't know if I would ever say that there was a huge. So one thing that so when my headaches started, and I don't know if I'm going to get back to my point from this. I'm going to try. When my headache started, and I have this weird headache condition on one side of my head called hemicrania continua. Basically, hemicrania meaning half your fucking head, continua meaning all the fucking time. Half my head hurts all the fucking time. We didn't know why for a while. We still don't know why. It's an idiopathic condition, meaning it's just one day here's your gift. But at first I was misdiagnosed with cluster headaches, and cluster headaches, I was looking everywhere online. I was in miserable pain, and it said that vigorous exercise exercise could abort an attack. I'm like, well, I like abortion, so let's do that. So I had to go for that one. Thank you. So I started working out like crazy, and it was, I did find that when I was working out, my headaches kind of went away. So I did a ton of cardio, and it was something that I found that was interesting. I got, did a ton of cardio, lost a bunch of weight, and it was around the same time that I got into BDSM. And I had something that I found that was interesting was that I had the same kind of sensation when I was running as when I was getting a good spanking.
Okay.
And it was almost, I swear to God, being an endorphin junkie. And so my background is in toxicology. I did my master's thesis on prescription opiate abuse trends and toxicology. And I think so this is the science part. So I think that we do. So this is my interest. I think that when we're getting off, we're giving ourselves a little bit of a balm, a little bit of pain relief, a little bit of a healing bit of our own natural toxicology. For me, it's all about the endorphins, baby.
Well, Yvette, thanks so much for making the time. Is wonderful. I'm glad you don't hate me. That's cool. Or no, not hate, because I never thought it was present tense. I was like, there was a window where I thought, and so I'm glad that wasn't the case. No. That's cool, because then it just means we've always been chill.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you've got an Adam to dick you down nice and take care of you when you're sad. It's kind of like you're dating, but you're not. It's okay if she's listening. They're not dating. But she likes him, and it's okay. Don't be threatened. And I hope the healing continues.
Thank you. I hope the dicking continues.
I hope that for you too.
So it was wonderful seeing you again, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah. Yvette, where can people go to find you? Follow you.
You can find me at at the Scibabe or at Scibabe, depending on the platform. At the Scibabe on Instagram and Twitter, and at Blue Sky, and Facebook.com/Scibabe is where I post my monthly my columns. And if you want to support me on Patreon, which I know you do, it's patreon.com/Scibabe. And thank you so much.
All right. And why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye to everybody.
Okay, don't go just yet. There's going to be a big teaser clip in like a minute or so. So just hang tight. Let me do my bullshit, and you can hear even more of Yvette. Folks, the best place to share your thoughts on this week's episode is in the Champagne Room, our super free, super sex positive Discord server. There's a link to that in the schnotes, or you can go to manwhorepod.com/Discord. You can also email me your comments, your questions, your criticisms, your titty pictures to manwhorepod@gmail.com. Head on over to manwhorepod.com for all my upcoming stand-up comedy dates. If you want to buy some merch, you can do that on the website. Still got some Stay Slutty panties, a lot of buttons and stickers, and the new naked comedy show towels. Yeah. But the best way to support this week's pod and gain access to Yvette's bonus episode tomorrow is on Patreon. Folks, the more Patreon members we start getting, the less ads you're going to hear. Just going to toss that out there. Become a member today for as little as $2 a month at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Sign up for an annual membership. Enjoy a little discount. But for now, I'm going to play a teaser of a very science-y bonus episode with the Scibabe. And if you're new around here, welcome to these two words. Stay slutty.
The big thing that happened during the pandemic was a fire hosing of disinformation, of purposeful disinformation, to try to, and this is what, especially...
By who?
Well, a lot of it was Russian-style propaganda, so I'm going to guess that's where a lot of it originated. Now, this is a thing that people look at me...
And we know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And people look at me sometimes like you just did. And I don't think you were.
What I said about Joe Rogan? I think it was off mic where I go he's 2 to 3 responsible questions away from doing his job.
I was right.
I know I just want to make sure
it was absolutely right to ask me that question. I appreciate it. And it's here's the thing. Once you kind of get to know the signs of Russian propaganda and what the goals of it are, you see it pretty well. Now, the thing with, like, and it's not even, like, sometimes the people that are propagating it don't realize the source. And I mean, like, do you remember, you might not remember it happening, but you probably know the story of it, like, when someone suggested that AIDS was invented in the laboratory. Like, that was a story back in the day. So that was Russian propaganda. And the way that they do those things, like, originally they...
So a guy did fuck a monkey, is what...
Obviously. One can only hope. But that started, like, the way that they do it is they'll plant a story, a study in an obscure journal that's not, it's not peer reviewed, that's pay for play, or that's originally not published in English. And then it'll get translated and published in another paper. And then it'll get sent to another thing. And it's like, it starts off somewhere that you can't quite find the original source. And it'll be planted by someone in the FSB.
And then when it's in enough footnotes, people go like, oh, I guess it was good enough for him to put it.
It's instead of laundering money, they're laundering information. So, and that's how you end up getting Ted Koppel saying on the 6 o'clock news, there's reason to believe that there's rumor that AIDS was invented in the laboratory. And that's exactly what, after months and months and months of work on, and here's the thing, it's not like, they're not necessarily trying to get, with all these various bits of COVID disinformation, they weren't necessarily trying to get anyone to believe any one
They just want people fighting.
They want people to not believe the government. Because if they can get you to, like, because they had people believing, 3 theories that didn't agree with each other. And if you can get people to go, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to wear masks, but I know that they said no masks one day, and then they said masks the next day. And I think maskers are bad, but like, it's, if you can get people to not know who to trust, or think that or think that there are too many competing theories, if they just don't trust anyone, then they don't have faith in the institutions anymore. They don't have faith in their own government. They don't have faith in their own, like, the medical systems. They all hated fucking Anthony Fauci. How people thought Fauci was a fucking criminal is beyond the fact that, like, how you get people to be distrustful and hateful and sending death threats at that man of all people. That shows you, like, and I get it. Some of it was just Donald Trump and a bunch of fucking idiots out, but like, the fact that it was such a fire hosing of different ideas, and I like it had, at least some of that information had to have been Russian propaganda, like, just based on where the types of journals, because I went through and traced where the original ivermectin things came from, where some of those articles came from. And like, some of them were originally, because they were trying anything that they thought might have antiviral properties. And that made sense. Like, I found one of the original blogs that was saying ivermectin really fucking works a year before it exploded onto because somebody had sent me an article on it a year before. Everyone was like, ivermectin, flogging it everywhere. And I was like, that's interesting. So like, when it came out and everyone's talking about it, and it was like, this is a story that people have been planting for a while and recirculating. So it's like, it didn't just come out of nowhere. It was one of those things that, like, after hydroxychloroquine kind of came and went, it was like, all right, we have another drug that we can kind of confuse people with.
It's interesting because, like, I didn't see, like, reports about, say, like, that as Russian ops, in 2020, but like, we all know, like, all of our intelligence agencies said, like, for 2016 that that like they did that, and then the Mueller report was like, they plan to do it again. And I think in the hubbub of COVID and everything, that probably got lost. But it makes sense because, like, we were told they will do some fuckery again, just like they did back, in 2016.
And it's like, people will ask, why would they want it? It's like, because they want to destabilize us. And that's been the whole thing for a very long time is, like, well, our country's been fucked up, so too will yours be. Like,